Hi Warriors, Guy here, and welcome to Astrom Cross. On this video, we're gonna give you a quick class to get your battle ready in less than 10 minutes. But what is Astrom Cross? Well, Astrom Cross is a game that takes warriors from different worlds, dimensions, or timelines and put them together using the game as a crossover. It turns every single match into this epic what-if scenario, and you are the one calling all the shots. These crossovers are possible thanks to the Character Role Operating Simulation System, or CROSS for short. It's the X in the cross in the name of Astrom Cross. So first things first, how do you actually win? Let's talk about the main objectives of the game, and Astrom Cross have a few ways to win other than smashing the biggest warrior upon your opponent. The first and most direct way is by dealing damage to your opponent's ancient until they reach the limit. Or you can play the long game and win by deck out. This is basically when your opponents run out of cards on their deck to draw. However, this is not so easy because the game has a deck recycling system. But for those of you who likes alternative win condition, there are some special cards that basically they say, hey, if you do this, you win the game. Now, every good strategist needs to be prepared, and you'll need an arsenal. So let's check out the different cards you'll need to take down your opponent. Now the first thing you need to know is that you'll be using two different decks in Astrom Cross. But before building your deck, you need to select your ancient. After that, you can start creating your main deck. This will be where all your warriors, items, event, and techniques will be. This deck must be between 40 and 60 cards. Then you have your location deck. This one is much smaller. It's 12 to 15 cards with a maximum of 5 sacred locations. And other than basic locations, you cannot have more than 3 copies of every single card in the game. This card is super important. It's not just another card in your deck, this is your leader. Ancients decide how much life you have, the maximum hand size, and at the same time this works after your opening hand. Protecting this card is your #1 job on the game because if this card goes down, you go down with it. It's game over. Next, you have your warriors. These are your main units. You summon them in your locations to go and attack or defend. They come in all shapes and sizes and they have some awesome abilities that you can use at some points throughout the game. Next, let's talk tactics. You got event and techniques. Think of events as one-time effects that you can use during your main turn. Techniques are a little bit different. They are more like combat tricks your warriors can pull in the middle of battle to catch your opponent off guard. And item cards. The easiest way to think of these are gears that you equip on your warriors to boost their stats or give some new abilities. Finally, your location cards. The foundation of every strategy. Every time you play one of these, they provide the energy for you to unlock everything else. Your warriors, your event, everything rely on these cards. No locations, no army. As simple as that. So, we know all the cards. But where do they go? Well, the game map organizes specific zones for every single card. Understanding the battlefield is the first step to controlling it. Let's do a quick tour of the battlefield. First, there's your ancient zone. This is where your leader sits. Then your deck zone and your location deck zone is where you place your decks face down so that you can draw from them. Your grave is where your destroyed cards go. The range zone is your main stage. This is where you place your location so your warriors can stand. And then you have the two most unique zones, the soul stock and the arcana. The soul stock is basically your energy reserve. As you play effects or deal damage, cards will be sent here. You spend this card to unleash powerful abilities or cast stronger warriors. Think of it as charging your super move for a finishing blow. Next up is the Arcana. This is where the magic happens. Literally. This is where you cast your events, techniques, and items. But here's the catch. You only have 4 zones on this area. So you gotta be really smart about managing this space. Now let's talk about the rhythm of the game. In Astrom Cross, every turn follows a step-by-step flow of strategy and action. Each turn is like a little story of 6 chapters. You start with the beginning phase where you get your warriors ready for actions. Then is your draw phase. Draw a new card. Then is your location phase. Here you build up your resources. Then is your main phase, where you put most of your work. Here you summon your warriors, you cast your event, you play your items. Then it comes the fun part, the battle phase. Here's where you attack. And finally, the end phase. The end phase is for cleanup and passing the turn. It's a system that keeps everything organized while moving forward. Now, playing your cards on this game is a little bit different. It's a two-part system. First part is the entrance cost. Now, you don't spend this. It's more like a requirement. You need a certain amount of location, some with a specific attribute, in order to play certain cards. Second part is soul cost. Remember that energy reserve we talked about? The one that lets you play powerful cards? Well, this resource is actually used here. You pay for your cost by moving cards from your soul stock to your grave. Here's a rule that you won't find on the cards themselves. Summoning sickness. All it means is that a new warrior cannot attack the same turn as play. This is a huge balancing mechanic that stops players from dropping huge monster and winning instantly. It makes you think a turn or two ahead of time. And now for the main event. This is where strategies come together and warriors get to clash. Let's break down how battles go down. So combat is not just warriors smashing together. It's more like a strategic dance. First you declare your attacker, if there's any support, and who will be attacking. Then your defender gets to defend or support. Then both player gets to cast their techniques. Then warriors clash. And finally, somebody takes some damage. So the game as a score is just like any other games. Whoever has the highest power is the winner. If the attacker has more power than the defender is destroyed. If the defender has more power than the attacker, then the attacker is destroyed. If their both powers are equal, then they both get destroyed. But what's the secret? What makes Astrom Cross special? Well, let's dive into some of the mechanics that make this game special. Well, first, the locations. Locations are not just resource generators. No, they are terrains that you build, and depending on how you build your terrain, you can play different play styles. It's up to you to find out what is optimal to maximize your gameplay. And then is the damage system. So, when your engine gets hit, you don't just get damage. No. In Astrom Cross, we use strikes. It determines how many cards are going to be revealed from the top of your deck. And as you reveal those cards, the opponent gets to perform what is called a trigger check. This means that he gets to reveal a card from the top of his deck and check for a trigger symbol. If it is there, he can activate the trigger effect for free. Then, the ancient takes damage equal to that revealed card's damage value. Finally, that card is placed into the soul stock. It's an incredible comeback and balancing mechanic built up right into the DNA of the game.